Hi, I'm Relja and welcome to BikeGremlin YouTube channel. In this video, I make this video for Michael. Michael is a member of LowEndSpirit forum, that is a forum related to web hosting and IT topics in general. One of my favorite forums, and Michael makes YouTube videos, but his audio is almost as bad as the audio on my first videos was. So I hope this video will help Michael. I also hope it will help anyone else watching, and I also hope it will help me to learn. If you know something better, and use comment section to let me know of any additions or corrections that you may have. I am not a professional in this, so this is just good enough. My goal is to make audio be clear to understand, not too loud and not too silent, and to not spend hours on editing audio for only one video, because this is my hobby and I want to make more videos on different topics, and I have to squeeze that among other things that I do. So that's like a budget option. Software that I will be using to show everything here is called DaVinci Resolve, but most video editing softwares and even some separate, like dedicated audio editing softwares, are using more or less similar methods and metrics. So I cannot make a completely universal video, but DaVinci Resolve works on Linux and Windows. I'm not sure about Mac. I've only seen Mac a few times in my life, so it's Serbia, we are poor. But I'll be using this, and I will try to make audio of a very poorly recorded video sound acceptable and show you how I do that. So if it helps you, great. For start, why is audio important? It is important because when you are watching a video, if the audio sucks, you are going to have a lot worse experience when you're watching a video. It will be a lot more tedious and uncomfortable, so to speak, to watch. If the image sucks, if the video is not as good but the audio is clear, that's a lot better. Of the two evils, it's better to have a good audio and worse video than the vice versa. For videos, I'm talking about videos, so it's counterintuitive, but that's how humans work. And so also important thing, especially if you are making videos for YouTube, is to make your videos not be too loud, because YouTube creates a certain limit of how loud a video's signal can be, and if you exceed that, it will just chop it off and deform the audio that you have on your video. On the other hand, if you make it too silent, then it will be unpleasant for any viewers, because when they click on next video, the sound will be very loud when they go from your silent video that they had to pump up their speakers to hear you. So it makes for a very traumatic experience for viewers. YouTube measures sound loudness in something called LUFS. Explaining what that exactly is and how our perceived volume and loudness plays out is going to take a separate video, at least for me. I'm not smart enough to put it simply and briefly to explain it to a 5-year-old. I don't still know and understand that well enough. But this works. Just remember, minus 14 LUFS is the maximum loudness. If you go louder, make it minus 13, it will be cut off by YouTube when you upload it, and YouTube processes it. If it's a lot more silent, below minus 16 or worse, minus 17 and so on, it will be a bit too silent for the audience. So it's best to aim for some middle. When you open a YouTube and open a video and start a video. So let's start here a video. Here we have Stats for Nerds. Right click and then Stats for Nerds. And this is what is interesting. This video is by 1.4, in this case it's decibels, so not LUFS, or LUFS, however they are pronounced, but decibels. This video is louder than YouTube allows, so the audio will be deformed by YouTube's processing. On the other hand, it's not good to have it too too silent either. So that's how you can do your final check when you upload. You can see if you've messed it up. Okay, now let's try to make a video with acceptable audio. So I'm starting DaVinci Resolve. I have to light the candle so it doesn't crash. Joking, it's quite good, quite stable. So let's make a new project, untitled project. Okay, here is the, I will not go explaining the basics of DaVinci Resolve. I am sorry, I'm making this in a rush, so it will take a few more videos to cover only the basics and how it's used. Different software for video editing have different layouts and stuff, but the basics, what you are trying to achieve, is always similar. But again, maybe if more than 10 people watch this video, I might make more tutorials on this. Anyway, if there's any interest and it helps anyone whatsoever. So, but here we'll stick with audio. So to start, I will go to this edit and go to media pool. Opening it, it was already open, and right click and import media or Control I. And now I want to choose a video from my hard disk. This is some video that I made, unsuccessful repair. And let's try to edit it. Now the thing to do is I will drag it, left click and hold it and drag it to my timeline. So this is my audio, this is my video. It has those two separated sort of. And I can also add track. I've added a video track. I can also add track and say stereo track to add audio. And so if I do this, it will keep this linked together. You can unlink them, right click and then this, or Control Alt L. But I have two audios because sometimes I want to make two sounds of different loudness. If I want to add music, just something, let's see, import media, jingles, where is my intro music? Go Get 'Em Tiger, the best song in the world. So let's try to put this here to make it sort of a introductory music. While the screen is black, I won't be bothering you now with creating the intro, my beautiful intro. And now I'm cutting this with a B. I choose B, A to select, and so on. Again, I will not be explaining DaVinci Resolve. I'm just concentrating on audio. So here we have some audio, and then we have me talking. Let's cut this nonsense to make it shorter because I talk too much. Okay, so let's make it even shorter for demonstration so that we don't waste much time. So here we have the, I'm not sure if this will be able, if you'll be able to hear this in the video, but I will try to play it how it sounds now. The intro music and when I start talking. But for editing audio in DaVinci Resolve, it is best to use this called Fairlight. Okay, so here, if you remember, we had our audio from video and our audio channel 2 for the music. And let's double check, right click on audio, track type to stereo. Okay, so that's one thing to do, but I also forgot to do one important thing. So I will be deleting this video that I just moved to my timeline. I will delete it, and here I will select this recording before I import it, right click and say clip attributes, and I want to go to audio, and here this was recorded with this crappy microphone, so it's a mono sound, but I am making a stereo recording for YouTube, and if I leave it like this, no amount of editing will help, and I learned that the hard way. So what I will do now is select here stereo, that's format on one track. I'm talking about this one that I'm editing, and I will also set this format to stereo and make both channels use the same audio. So it's not like Bohemian Rhapsody song of Queen. If you listen, they put different sounds in different headphone or speaker when you're playing on some effects, but this will be the same but working normally from both speakers. Otherwise you get just one speaker audio and it's very awkward when you're listening to it. Okay, that was the first thing. I have to do this before I move the video to my timeline. The changes don't work otherwise, so I forgot to do that now. The blade tool, okay, the select tool to remove these two. And now we have audio one channel and audio 2 channel, and I'm going to Fairlight finally. And here I can set some things related to my project which I had forgotten to set from the start. I have a pre-saved template for project, so I don't go through all this again and again. But here I wanted to demonstrate it, so I started with a blank one. Let's see where this is. Capture and playback. Fairlight. Okay, that's what we want to do. That is the thing where you edit the sound in DaVinci Resolve. It's separated. Some video recording editing software have that all in one place, but here it's separated. You have edit, you have Fusion for effects, special effects, and you have Fairlight for audio and so on. So when you get the hang of it, it's good. Now I want my target loudness level. That is what I am aiming for. I don't want my videos to be too loud, and I don't want them to be too silent. So I will set this to -14. It's a good reference. It's a good reference. Okay. You can make it a bit different. You can make it go -15 or 16 and then try to stay a bit above it, but I prefer to make it the maximum, which is -14 LUFS for YouTube. Unless I'm wrong, please correct me. And then just try to not exceed that. My brain works easier that way. I respect limits. Okay, now this is default. I will not be touching any of this. I don't even know what it means, really. Save. That way, when I go to Fairlight, I have this nice little option that lets me choose absolute scale. That's one thing, and I will explain why that is important in a minute, but another thing is that I want to step back. This Fairlight lets you analyze the audio and edit it and alter it, so to deform it, but in order to make it better. So what I want to do here is to first set my tracking so that I know is my sound too high or too low or anything, and it shows me a loudness metrics. And so what I want to do here, I will try to play this video and you will see the loudness. And in order to, here it shows me audio 1, audio 2, and this thing called bass. I can enable here loudness history, and when I drag this, it makes it easier to see, not as condensed, and I want it integrated. So now, when I hit space to start playing this audio, it draws loudness. Buttons are not, I don't like these, but okay. Apart from that, it's good mouse. But this, you can see the drawing here. It started doing that when I'm spinning it. But I want to make this simpler for me. So I choose this option. I choose B, absolute scale. So it will not show me relative to my target loudness, is it minus or plus. It will show me relative to -14 LUFS where it is, and show the limit as top here. For me, that's easier to cope with. Another thing for the analysis of audio loudness and everything, Google says that this newer, latest, greatest algorithm is better than the default one. So I choose it like a monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. I'm sure someone can explain exactly what all this is and teach me, but this does the job. So not the best video in the world, but it works for me. Okay, so that's what I want to change, and there's another catch. Okay, now let's give it a try. Here now I can see in absolute values where I am at on average, so the intro music is not too loud, it's a bit less loud than the audio. The speech is a bit louder perhaps, but it is not loud enough. Working. It started doing that when I'm spinning it. I want to fix that. So this is the audio channel 2. I don't want to touch that. I don't want the music to be too loud when it's starting, to not startle anyone and be uncomfortable. It's good enough, but the audio is not. So I want to select here the audio 1, and this is the output, or bus, or however you want to call it. There is another catch. Right click on a channel and say Analyze Audio Levels. Using algorithm, this is the one I want to use, and I can say Analyze. So I don't have to watch it visually and spend too much time. I can get a ballpark value. So this is the loudest that it gets on certain occasions in decibels, and this is the general loudness of this video, so it's not very loud. -30, and we want -15, -16, up to -14. So, okay. This is a visual representation of that. Now to edit that, I want to click on bus here. This is for the final output. If I want to edit my final output, to put some sound filter on it. However, I will disable this, because my goal is to use the channels themselves separately, because I don't want to make the music louder. I just want to make the sound, or when I'm speaking, louder. So this will remain as it is, but here I want to say limiter. I want to set a limiter, ceiling -2. This release is how it is here by default. Okay, let's leave it at this, though I think that making this a bit lower works okay, but at least for my videos. Let's leave it at this. Okay, so what will happen here is that a video that is too loud, the parts that are too loud will be silenced, but without too much distortion. Don't know exactly how that works, but it seems to work. And now I want to play with the audio for channel 1. Here I just clicked on it to make it disabled, or click another time to make it enabled. So double click opens this. I want dynamic, I want dialogue compression, and now when I play this, hit space to play this. And let's make this more easy to see. Now it's pretty not loud. So what I want to do is increase this, and you can see the scale going up. And here the red is showing it's cutting something off, and so
reverses the direction, and then it continues.
This is about the sweet spot when using this setup. For some reason it seems to work.
See if I can clean it and maybe
not sure exactly how.
Get it to work. I don't like this texture.
I can check
the newer model has a bit less
the maximum loudness of this video.
It's just as grippy, but doesn't.
Ever.
My palms
I've
are
unzoomed
not
a bit.
That
the maximum loudness,
still I don't like
and
this
is
when
the sort of an average. So
some
and
of
this
my
is
pages
what
are
it
very
shows
long on my website.
on the
Now,
exit. This is the final stereo output that I will be putting out of this video. In this case, only audio 1 track is attributing to that, because the music is not playing.
And here
I'm not sure if any of this can be understood, because of I'm at the same time playing the video. So now I will shut up and try to play this with and without the edit so that you can hear the difference. And we are close to the target loudness here, almost about -16. So first let's try without it, and then I will play with turning it on.
I usually try to feel where it could be by pressing hard on these, even at the risk of cutting something. And this might be the spot right here. It's like an indent that I can feel with my finger. It's as if I put a paper over a
Now I'm not sure if this can be heard or understood and how it works on the video, but when I'm editing I can hear the difference when I play with these options, and they do make a difference, so it does seem to work. I can push this a bit further up. Sometimes it gets deformed when there's red showing here. Why exactly, I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's one of the things. There are a lot more things in details that you can do. You can edit the loudness of a certain section of your video separately depending on what's going on. You can also go to the editor and edit the whole audio to make it a bit louder or less loud by moving this up or down. But this is a very simple. It took more talk than there is work, really. And I'm very sorry for a poor and long presentation, but this generally, I'll see how this video turns out with its audio, but this is basically what I do to edit audio. And in different tools that I've used over the years, the way to tell the tool to do this, to keep the sound loudness at a certain level while reducing the louder sounds without cutting it off completely, and increasing the loudness of the lower sounding sounds without making it too bad. That's the basic principle. Also, some deformation is always present, and the more you edit the original audio, the more deformation will be done, and it takes a lot more effort to make it good. So it's best to try and make your audio as good as possible when you're recording it, but I cannot do that with the microphone that I have. There are no options, no settings, so I can only hold it right in front of my mouth, and then it doesn't sound good. There are too many I think it's a poor quality microphone, so I have to increase this volume on all of my videos relatively drastically. So but then it does work. Let's try to keep it to this setting and to analyze audio right now. And I want to see another thing. Okay, I figured it out. It was a combination of a bug, because the computer user started doing nonsense. It's nothing to do with the software. So it has this option to lock metering to transport. When that is enabled, it will reset all the stats here whenever you click to move this on the timeline. So it will start from
this might be
nothing.
The spot.
This is good if you want to quickly
right
see a certain section
it's
of
like
a video, to see how it is
finger.
performing. If you wish
as
to,
if I put a paper
to use some different effects on just that. And
coin.
Here, I'll stop it. And when you disable that, then clicking does not reset the stats, except for the short value stat. So that's what this does. And when you don't reset it automatically, then you have to reset it manually, and then click back start to keep tracking. After a while you get some stats. However, when I enable this, for some reason it gives me more quickly the information about the given section that I've just listened to in numbers.
Maybe get it to work. I don't like this texture, the newer
So that's basically it. So I have this integrated chart about sort of an average subjective feeling of the loudness when you play a video or its action, and this is to see how it bounces louder and less loud in a brief period, but that's not relevant for YouTube and for listening in general, because if a video has a lot of very high loudness but followed with silence, the subjective feeling of how loud that is will be a bit lower compared to a video that is very loud all the time, even if that top loudness is the same on both videos. So that's why this integrated chart is important, and that's generally what, as far as I can tell, YouTube measures and acts if that is overdone. So you can have some louder sections of video, and you can hear that on your speakers and see it in the volume meters. So okay, of course, if I hit the hammer very strongly, I will try to make that part of the video less loud, but this general loudness is what affects how it's perceived when people are listening, and that's something that you cannot really tell as easily, and that's where the software like this or any other software that does similar thing can help. And this is how I do it. It's very a beginner. I'm still learning, still figuring it out, as you could see, but this has enabled me to make videos as you are listening to it now. So I hope it's good enough, and I'm also willing to learn and to figure new things out. So I hope this video has helped you at least a bit, and I wanted to have a recording also for my own reminder, so that in a year I can look at it and laugh at how stupid I was, but also so that I can get corrections from real experts and tips, and so that I can remember what I did. For example, here I had already forgotten some things that I had configured and figured out, okay, this works, I'll just save that setting and use it always. Well, now I forgot when I started to do it from scratch, because I only edit my videos and work on my projects and don't do this professionally. So still learning. Thank you again very much for watching, and I will see you in some other video. Cheers, stay cool.